All right, colleagues, it's time to look at Joseph Burchak again, but this time we're not going to take one of his great historical books and take a look at it. We're going to look at a modern day novel that he wrote. This is a fiction novel called Chenoo. Chenoo was published right here by the University of Oklahoma Press, and it only came out in 2016, so it's relatively fresh. Chenoo is a little bit different. I believe that the main character in this novel really gives voice to Joseph Burchak. And I want to take you to the middle of the book where the main character is traveled to join up with many other Native Americans from different tribes, mainly Eastern, Northeastern, and they are going to have a sit-in national park property that was given as a national park by the Abenaki tribe, and they said, when you no longer are going to use this as a national park, we want the land back. We do not want the land to be sold. We do not want the land to be used for buildings. And so I believe it is he's walking with some of his fellow Native Americans, and they're thinking about what they want to achieve in this sit-in. And this, I think, is Joseph Burchak really reflecting on what it's like to be Native American, but to also not be full-blooded Native American. What does that mean? And what does it mean to try to be Native American now? So I'm just going to read you a little excerpt because he says it so much better than I could sum it up. For hundreds of years, our Pennacook people had watched their land being taken, their good leaders being killed, their weak leaders selling out. They'd seen our forests cleared cut, our rivers polluted, the birds, plants, and animals that sustained us just about wiped out. They'd been wounded by racism and neglect, seduced by materialism, and confused by television. They'd watched their families being torn apart by unemployment and alcoholism. They'd watched, oh, and then to top it off, they'd been told they were only half-breeds at best, pretenders at worst. Everybody knows all those Pennacooks died off 2 centuries ago. Yet somehow, in the midst of all of this, they'd still wanted to believe in the old dream. Our people and the land are one. A broken circle can be mended. I think that is one of the great challenges today for Native American voices is to speak to who they truly are, trying to be true to their Native American self, fitting in today. Many of them are blended with other nationalities. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting perspective I'm taking a look at. I can't say it's one I completely understand. Another thing that's interesting about Joseph Burchak's viewpoint in this book that he brings out through Pojo, the protagonist in this book, is he thinks back a lot in the book. His mind will just wander back and tell a Native American folk tale. At times, I found it very distracting to the flow of the story. I also found a lot of Native American names, and he would put a lot of Native American words into the story. Sometimes it was very interesting and aided the understanding and relevance of what he was saying, and sometimes it was just too much. And so I think that's an interesting balance too for readers who are non-native to look into a novel written about and from Native American perspective and try to find some sense of balance in there. I do not have enough experience and I have my own bias. I'm not going to say whether that would be great or wasn't great. I'm just saying I noticed it, that it was a little distracting to me to have his thoughts constantly interrupted and taking you back to legends but I definitely learned a lot that I didn't know about Native American legend, especially from the Mohawk, the Abenaki, and the Northeastern Indians, of which Joseph Bruchac is descended. So I would definitely say this would be a great read for young adult readers because it is a compelling story. Pojo is a detective. He's trying to figure out these murders, and it was a page turner. And even though it's got some issues, I can't really say that they're, again, good or bad, just that I noticed them. And I think others will too, that it could be springboard for some great conversations. So, Chenoo by Joseph Bruchac.